Hi everyone, learning grammar is fun. I hope you will enjoy. Our today's lesson is about the past perfect. Let's have fun. Okay everyone, we usually use the past perfect if there are two actions happened in the past. Okay, there is action number 1 and action number 2. The action that happened first, action number 1, we use the past perfect to talk about it. And action number 2, the one that followed number 1, we use the past symbol to talk about it. So we use the past perfect symbol for the action happened first and the past symbol for the action that followed if there are two actions happened in the past. For example, when I got there, the museum had closed. Which one happened first? Okay, the museum had closed. This has happened first. Then I got there. This is action number 2. Another example. Yahya had read a book about mythology before he really enjoyed the film about the Minotaur. So the first action again here now action number 1 is reading the book. The second action or action number 2 is enjoying the film. Use number 2. We use it, I mean the past perfect, to talk about something that happened before a specific time in the past. Okay, here we often use the preposition by to mean before or not later than. By 1500, the minions had disappeared. Another example. She had finished her homework by 6 o'clock. Okay, so the sentence means that first she finished her homework, then it became 6 o'clock. Okay, another example, by the age of 4, I had already learned to swim. So I learned to swim before the age of 4. The last example, we had finished our dinner by the time Francis arrived. By the time is a linking word that I use it to join two sentences in the past perfect and the past simple. What is the form of the past perfect? How can I form a sentence in the past perfect? Okay, the past perfect tense in English is composed of two parts. The past tense, had, the past form of have and has, plus the past participle of the main verb. So the form here is had plus past participle. In affirmative sentence, the form is had past participle, subject had past participle, she had finished. The negative sentence will be had not or hadn't plus past participle. She hadn't finished. Yes, no question, starting with the auxiliary verb, subject, and verb. 3 steps to form an yes, no question. Here in the past perfect will be had plus subject plus past participle. So the question will be, had she finished? Again, my students, we use the past perfect to talk about an action that was completed before something else in the past. For example, when we arrived, he had already performed his sketch. So which action was first? Performing, and action number 2, arriving there. When we arrived at the cinema, the film had already started. Here, the word when is a linking word. We use it to join two sentences in the past simple and past perfect. After when, we use usually the past simple. And after that, sentence number 2 is in the past perfect. We can sometimes use the word when in the middle. So the example will be, the film had already started when we arrived at the cinema. The film had already started, past perfect, when we arrived at the cinema. Two actions happened in the past, okay, and we use the past perfect to say which one happened first. Let's emphasize what we have said in this lesson. We are talking about the past perfect, the affirmative form of the past perfect, had plus past participle. For example, she had eaten her lunch by 6 o'clock yesterday. Here we use the past perfect to talk about an action happened in the past before a specific time. The negative form of the past perfect, had not, hadn't, plus past participle. For example, she hadn't eaten her lunch by 6 o'clock yesterday. Yes, no question. 3 steps, had, auxiliary verb, plus subject, plus past participle. So the question will be, had she eaten her lunch by 6 o'clock yesterday? The answer will be, yes, she had, or no, she hadn't. WH word, the question. WH word, had, subject, past participle. So the question will be, what had she done by 6 o'clock yesterday? The answer will be, she had eaten her lunch. There are some key words for the past perfect. We usually use them to join 2 sentences. One sentence in the past simple, action number 2, and one sentence in the past perfect, action number 1. The key words here are the word after and as soon as. Both of these words we use past perfect, after, as soon as, past perfect, had plus past participle, comma, past simple, one verb plus ed or a regular verb. We can also use them in the middle, so the rule will be past simple, verb plus ed or a regular one, after, as soon as, and past perfect, had plus past participle. Another 2 key words of the past perfect are before, by the time, and also the word when. Before, by the time, after them, we use the sentence in the past simple, one verb plus ed, did, or a regular one, comma, and a sentence in the past perfect, had plus past participle. We here also can use the word before, by the time, and when in the middle. So the sentence will be past perfect at the very beginning, had plus past participle, before, by the time, or when in the middle, and after that a sentence in the past simple. Some examples. Number 1, after I had eaten dinner, comma, I went to bed. Or I can say, I went to bed after I had eaten dinner. I can put the word after in between, in the middle. The phone rang as soon as, or after I had walked in the room. Or I can say, as soon as I had walked in the room, comma, the phone rang. Example number 2. Before I went to school, I had had my breakfast. Or I can say, I had had my breakfast before I went to school in the middle. By the time we arrived at the stadium, the match had started. Or the match had started by the time we arrived at the stadium. By the time Tony came back home, we had gone to bed. Or we had gone to bed by the time Tony came back home. Number 3 here, I want to tell you that we can sometimes use the word just and already, okay, with the past perfect. For example, Tamara had already, you know that we use the word already between the had or have and has in the present perfect and the past participle. So the example here will be Tamara had already gone to bed when her mobile phone rang. Or I had just washed. We also use the word just between had and the past participle, as we use it between has and have and the past participle in the present perfect. The example will be I had just washed the car when it started to rain. Now let's apply what we have studied in grammar through answering the questions. Number 1, put the verbs into the correct tense, simple past or past perfect simple. Number 1, when he wake up, his mother already prepared breakfast. Here we have the word when, after when, past simple, and after the comma, past perfect. So the answer will be when he woke up, his mother had already prepared breakfast. Had already prepared. Number 2, we go to London after the Queen invite us for tea. Here we have the word after in the middle. After the word after, I have to use past perfect, and before the word after, I have to use past simple. The answer will be we went to London after the Queen had invited. Number 3, after he hear the news, he go to the telephone and call a friend. Again, after the word after, past perfect. After he had heard. After he had heard the news, he went, past simple, to the telephone and called a friend. Number 4, when she started to learn English, she already learned French. When she, past simple, started to learn English, she had already learned or learned French. She had already learned or learned French. Number 5, Jane already typed 10 pages when her computer crashed. Here we have the word when, before when past perfect, and after when past simple. Jane had already typed 10 pages when her computer crashed. Jane had already typed 10 pages when her computer crashed. By the time past simple, by the time he arrived at the pub, they, past perfect, had run out of beer. Had run out of beer. Number 7, before that day, I need here to talk about an action happened before a specific time in the past. So here I have to use past perfect. Before that day, we had never thought of going to Japan. We had never thought. Number 8, I know him for a long time before I meet his family. Here we have the word before. I have to use past perfect in the sentence before the word before, and past simple in the sentence after the word before. So the answer will be I had known him for a long time before I met his family. Before I met. Number 9, they not know where to meet because nobody tell them. Before the word because, okay, past simple, and after because, past perfect. They didn't know. They didn't know where to meet because nobody had told them. Because nobody had told them. Number 10, it be cloudy for days before it finally began to rain. Again, we here have the word before, so I have to use past perfect in the first sentence. It had been cloudy. It had been cloudy for days before it finally began, irregular verb in the past simple, began to rain. Number 11, before Sarah sleep, she do all the housework. Before past simple, before Sarah slept, she had done all the housework. She had done all the housework. Now let's answer question number 2. Choose the correct answer. Number 1, after they, past perfect, after they had opened the window, it, past simple, became colder. Number 2, after, again, past perfect, after we had seen the movie, comma, we, past simple, went to bed. Number 3, again, the word after, past perfect. After he had left. After he had left, she started in the past simple to cry. Number 4, as soon as, past perfect. As soon as it had started to rain, she took, past simple, her umbrella. Number 5, he, cards after he. Here I have to use past simple. He played. Cards after he, past perfect, had done his homework, had done. Number 6, before she, past simple, before she thanked me, she, past perfect, had taken my present. Number 7, we the robbers after they. Here I have the word after in the middle. Before, after, past simple. We saw the robbers after they had left the bank. Number 8, his hair after his teeth. Here I have again the word after in the middle. Before, after, past simple. So the answer will be he combed. Okay, his hair after he had brushed his teeth. Now let's answer the rewrite question. Number 1, before we went out, we had put on our new shoes. Use the word after instead of the word before at the very beginning. So here you have to exchange the two sentences. The answer will be, after we had put on our new shoes, comma, we went out. Number 2, they went swimming after it had stopped raining. Again, here I want you to use the word before instead of after in the middle. So again, you have to exchange the two sentences. Exactly, it had stopped raining before they went swimming. Number 3, when we arrived there, the ceremony had already started. Use the word as soon as instead of the word when. So here again you have to exchange the two sentences. As soon as the ceremony had already started, we arrived there. Number 4, my father began to wash the car after my mother had gone out. Use the word by the time at the very beginning instead of after. Here you don't have to exchange the two sentences because after the word by the time I need sentence in the past simple. By the time My father began to wash the car, comma, my mother had gone out. Number 5, she get her new dress, then she show it her parents. Use the word after. Okay, after she had got. After she had got her new dress, she showed it her parents. Number 6, he fall from the balcony, he take away the railing. Which action happened first? Taking away the railing. Okay, so here the answer will be after he had taken away the railing, comma, he fell from the balcony. Number 7, he eat the cake, then he leave. Use the word before in the middle. Exactly, after the word before, we have to use past perfect. He had eaten. He had eaten the cake before he left. Past simple. Number 8, they have a cup of tea, then they have some cake. As soon as, at the very beginning. As soon as, past perfect. As soon as they had a cup of tea, comma, they had some cake. Number 9, I watch TV, the lights go out. Which action happened first? The lights, of course, go out. So here I will say the lights had gone out. The lights had gone out before I watched TV. Before I watched TV. Number 10, he worked hard, then he felt sick. As soon as, at the very beginning, past perfect. As soon as he had worked hard, comma, he felt sick. He felt sick. Now I hope you can do your homework, then check it. I hope you enjoyed a lot our lesson today, and remember, the more you know who you are and what you want, the less you let things upset you. See you.